For the last 5 months, researchers across the world have been working around the clock to get a vaccine against COVID. As of this minute, 22 vaccines are in the clinical trial stage, 2 of which are from India. Tonight, a group of experts are joining me in 2 minutes to discuss the global efforts for an affordable vaccine and by when. Before that, here's a look at who's leading the race.
Our health workers are racing against time. As of this minute, over 9 lakh Indians have been infected by the coronavirus, and the need for a vaccine is more dire than ever. The Drugs Controller General of India has permitted 2 vaccines, one developed by Bharat Biotech International Limited and the other by Zydus.
They have got their sites ready and they are doing the clinical study on approximately 1,000 human volunteers each at different sites. Some have got 12 sites, some have got 6 sites, so that's it. They are trying to do the early clinical testing for these 2 candidate indigenous.
With over 13 million cases worldwide, countries are in a vaccine race. The latest to claim a breakthrough was Russia. A university is aiming for a vaccine launch by next month.
We all hope there will be an effective vaccine, but we need to focus on using the tools we have now to suppress transmission and save lives.
But even as pharma giants claim a breakthrough, the next challenge will be to ensure that the vaccine reaches all.
Right now, there is no vaccine for either developing countries or for upper middle income countries or for some high income countries that don't have bilateral deals. We're trying to solve that problem. Now, in solving that problem, what we've basically said is we will make doses available to low-income countries and lower-middle-income countries at the same time as upper-middle-income and high-income countries.
Time is running out. Nations have been under lockdown, and as we slowly open up to keep the economy running, only a vaccine will ensure unimpeded growth post the COVID era. Let's debate.
Two fantastic doctors on my panel to start with. Dr. Shashank Joshi is from Lilavati in Mumbai, but he's also heading the task force. An incredible battle against COVID is being fought and won in Mumbai. Dr. Joshi is joined with Dr. Eric Neibart. He's assistant professor medicine at the Mount Sinai Hospital, joining live from New York. It's the 3rd time he's connecting with us on the show. Let me ask you, we've been asking you this time, last time as well. Dr. Neibart, Mount Sinai Health System is also joining the vaccine race through what is called the hyperimmune globulin product called COVID-HIG. How is this different from the ones which are being developed right now? And broadly, where are we in the search for a vaccine?
Well, right now there are dozens of vaccine candidates. They're all, for the most part, very early in development. There's been candidates that have been isolated. Candidates have been tried on groups of patients to see what kind of immune response they have. There's a variety of them that have produced neutralizing antibodies. We're still very, very early in the ball game. I mean, if it was a baseball game, we'd be in the 2nd inning.
Are we rushing it? People are putting deadlines, Dr. Shashank Joshi. How accurate can a vaccine be when it's under this kind of pressure? And we have 2 which have gone through human trials in India. How close can we be to be safe enough? Because a vaccine has to be safe as well for broad spectrum use.
Safe vaccine, and every vaccine has to go through a phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3 trial. We should not be in any undue way, and if we try to hasten it up, we will not know the safety. Most vaccines take 15 years to develop. You can fastest track it by 18 months, but our ICMR wants to do it in a super fast track mode. It's not impossible because China in military has tried it, Russia has tried it, many people are trying it, and we have now 2 candidates, one from Bharat Biotech, another one from Zydus Cadila, which have started the phase 1 trial. So I think it is possible to keep the post in probably 3 to 6 months, but safety is paramount. Primum non nocere, first of all, do no harm. So I think we will be able to fast track it, and they are trying to create a regulatory-free environment. So I think that we should complement our ICMR, but they should not compromise on safety and efficacy, which I'm sure they will not.
Yeah, from Moscow, I'm joined today by Professor Dmitry Kulish. He's professor of pharmaceutical practice at Skoltech. And Professor Kulish joining us from Moscow. Good evening. Professor, in India, we were told by the Indian Council of Medical Research that Russia had fast-tracked a vaccine, and it has made headlines all over yesterday that this vaccine is in the early phases of its trial. What is the impact of fast-tracking the process? And what really are the details of the Russian vaccine which is being developed?
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for your question. Thank you for your interest. So look, let me make it clear. My job at Skoltech is to be aware about the process. I don't participate in Russian development. Still, I developed a lot of vaccines in my life, so I know what's going on. So here are the facts. First, when we say that Russia fast-tracked the vaccine, it must be taken together with the fact that Russia was the only country together with the US to develop Ebola vaccine. So in Russia, we have developed and tested platform for DNA and recombinant vaccine for dangerous viruses. Therefore, we not only fast track, we start from the point at which many companies around the world will arrive only half a year or a year of trials. So our secret is not only fast tracking, our secret is major investment 3-5 years ago into Ebola vaccine. Okay? Then what happens? So yesterday, 80 volunteers completed first phase trial on safety. This trial is fully compliant to all global regulations. So it's not fast tracking, it's honest first phase trial that has proven that vaccine is safe. Now it is crucially important to prove that immunity provided by vaccine is durable. However, in the current situation of emergency, Russian government made a decision to fast track the, so since we have proven safety, now we can take an opportunity of vaccinating citizens in danger of COVID and observe the durability of immunity. So the only fast tracking is that in normal situation, we would have spent approximately 1 year proving the efficacy of this vaccine. But now we go into people only because it is safe. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, absolutely, Professor Kulish. You did, of course. May I just go across to London, where I'm joined by Dr. Debashish Ghosh. He's member of the COVID-19 Research Committee for Trials. I'd like to ask you, Dr. Ghosh, you know, nobody's really, all here very qualified doctors. Nobody wants to fast track it and compromise on safety. But once the safety, as Dr. Kulish in Moscow described as efficacy of the vaccine is found out, that it's not dangerous, from then to actually looking at the immune response it develops, what is the shortest time period we are looking at?
I think Shashank just mentioned, Professor Dimitri also mentioned, we are looking at least 18 months. So it's not only the safety and right now I think Russia has just proven that they have developed a safe vaccine, but we have to also see if it is effective. And I think right now we are guessing it is 18 months. And that's a guesstimate. And as previously said by Shashank, we normally take at least 5 to 6 years to develop a vaccine minimum. We are fast tracking it. 18 months is the earliest we can look at, really.
But however, I mean, I'm not pushing this, Dr. Shashank, but with the spread of COVID and with the fear of a second wave, I'm sure that one has to be realistic and you have to do a cost-benefit analysis. Is there any way in which time frames can be brought down? Because, you know, Debashish is saying this, UK is actually leading the vaccine race with the most clinical trials. But in UK, then scientists are saying they expect a vaccine by the first half of 2021. If it is 18 months, how are we even talking about the first half of 2021?
I think we are talking about the phase 3 clinical trial, which will be multi-center trials, which will be available at the end of the year. That's what we are looking at. I think what we are, media is interpreting and we want to see some hope. And hence, we are misreading the information that is being given across. So there is phase 1 trial, phase 2 trial. So phase 2 trial should be completed by the end of 2021. And phase 3 trials, which is a multi-center trial with going across the globe, where international centers will be participating, should be ready for 2021 use.
2021 use at a mass level, Shashank, is that what he's saying?
Yeah,
Mass
that's what he's saying,
by...
but I think we should be able to fast track it better than that, and Russia will also be able to fast track it better than that. I personally feel that the Indian 2 vaccines, which are from Hyderabad and Ahmedabad, should be able to keep the post. It will take a month for the phase 1. It will take another month probably for the phase 2, maybe 2 months. And probably then the phase 3 can be upscaled to a larger population, probably somewhere in mid-September. So I'm reasonably optimistic that by the end of this year, or earliest by early next year, I think both the Indian vaccine candidates should be able to make the cut, provided they pass through these filters. Now remember, Arnab, the big if is that you might have 80 candidates, but they have to pass through the phase 1, they have to pass through the phase 2, and they have to pass through the phase 3.
And are these very different? I mean, Dr. Eric Neibart, are these very different? Like the Indian candidates, very different from the Russian ones, very different from the American ones, or is it broadly the same type?
I think really there's a variety of different mechanisms going on in these vaccines. I mean, a lot of this is sort of analogous to the conversation that Einstein had with Roosevelt in the beginning of World War II on the necessity of developing the atomic bomb, and they pursued 5 parallel pathways at the same time. And I think you're seeing, a variety of different ways of producing vaccines and administering vaccines. What's going on here?
Yeah, but Dr. Neibart, again, let me toss to Dr. Kulish in Moscow. Just let me put it differently. How do we know which strain of vaccine will work for whom? I mean, what I'm hearing here, Dr. Kulish, is that you have 13 million infections in the world. More than 500,000 people have been killed. What I'm hearing is there will not be a singular vaccine. So how do we know which strain of vaccine is to be used in which case?
Okay, look, to answer your question, we have to look at genomics of COVID. There are already several publications. For example, in my institution, Skoltech, we have a group of Yegor Bazykin and Mikhail Gelfand, who are the world-renowned virus evolution specialists. They published a paper proving that COVID strains around the world are surprisingly conservative. They're surprisingly not different from each other, and this is strange for viruses because many viruses such as flu and hepatitis C are extremely variable. Therefore, based on genomic analysis of COVID, we hope that single vaccine will work for very broad groups of population, maybe even for the entire world.
That's fascinating. I think we've been able to put together a lot of information in this short discussion. I can only say, Dr. Shashank, Dr. Kulish, Dr. Neibart, and Dr. Ghosh, best of luck. Best of luck. This is the most searched item anywhere in the world these days. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you, gentlemen, and best of luck to you. Godspeed for your efforts. I see you at 9 o'clock tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, once again on The Debate. Good night and goodbye.